Hello everyone, I am Chandra Prakash Bhaguna. I have attended an interview in a company called Virtusa and the company location is Bangalore and the interview date was the July 3rd, 2026. So they asked me the first question, how do you fix the bug in the e-tendering site? And let's say seller got higher price but he quoted less. Okay, so how would you resolve this? So then I said during my time on the GeM project, I handled similar production issues. My first step was to collect the tender ID, seller ID, and other relevant details so I could reproduce and trace the exact transaction. Then check the application logs because they captured the actual values processed by the system during the bid submission. So, based on my experience, the logs were primarily source of the investigation such issues. So instead of checking only the final amount, I verified each pricing component individually, such as the unit price, GST, AMC charges, CMC charges, quantity, and the final quoted price. I compared these values with the database records and values display on the portal to determine whether the issue was in the front end, back end business logic or the databases or the database. I also checked whether any price negotiation had taken place. In some cases, the negotiation price was updated in the back end but was not immediately reflected on the public portal. Therefore, before concluding that it was a software bug, I verified the negotiation history and the corresponding logs. So once I identified the root cause, I fixed the application code if it was a software defect, thoroughly tested the complete tender workflow, and performed agreeing testing to ensure that no other functionality was affected. After successful testing, the fix was deployed through the standard release process. So since GeM in government procurement platform, accuracy and the auditability are critical. So every pricing issue must be investigated carefully because it directly affects the procurement decisions, seller trust, and the dispute resolution. Second question they asked me, how do you migrate PHP 5 to PHP 8.3 in the server for any specific application? So before migrating, I would first understand the application, PHP version, framework, third-party libraries, and server setup. So my approach would be take a full backup, that is code, database, config, server settings, then set up a staging environment on PHP 8.3 and for older code bases, stages through intermediate versions like 7.4 and 8.0 rather than jumping directly. So breaking changes are easier to isolate. Review compatibility, replace depreciated stuff like the MySQL star, each, create function, and old style constructors with modern alternatives like the PDO or MySQL. Update dependency via Composer, checking framework and library compatibility with 8.3. Enable full error reporting in staging and fix warning notices and fatal errors. Test critical workflows, login, CRUD APIs, upload emails, cron jobs, payment. Run regression testing and deploy in a maintenance window with a fresh backup and rollback plan ready. If asked, they didn't ask, but if they could ask that, can you jump straight to 8.3? So technically yes, but I prefer incremental staging. So breaking changes are isolated and easier to test. Okay. Next question they asked me, API versioning. So API versioning is a way to make changes to an API without breaking existing applications that are already using it. It helps maintain backward compatibility while allowing new feature or changes to be introduced. So I usually prefer URI versioning such as the API/v1 and API/v2 because it is simple, easy to understand and widely used. So a new version should be created only for the breaking changes such as changing the request or response format. For non-breaking stages changes like adding a new optional field and same version can be used. So when releasing a new version, I keep the older version available for some time to existing clients. So can migrate smoothly without service interruption. Fifth question they asked me, how to flatten a multidimensional array. Okay, so dollar array, let us suppose you have one associative array, 1 comma, and then a multi dimensional array 2 3, then comma 4, then comma 5 6. Okay, so this is a multi-dimensional array. So first of all, I will make one empty array, dollar result equal to null. Then one function is here like the array underscore walk underscore recursive, and in the bracket dollar array function dollar v use ampersand result. Then dollar result equal to dollar v, which was the inside the function dollar v, and then outside the loop I can use the print r result. Okay, so now few notes are we use an outside variable inside the function. Ampersand use the original variable, not a copy. The next question they asked me, what is the n+1 query problem? So the n+1 query problem occurs when the application executes one array to fetch the main data and then executes an additional query for each record to fetch related data. This results in many unnecessary database queries and reduced performance. For example, if I fetch 100 users and then execute one separate query for each user's order, the application runs not one query, one for the users and 100 for the orders. So this is called the n+1 query problem. So the best way to avoid it by fetching the related data in a single query using joins or other optimized techniques depending on the requirement. So simple example is select star from, this is the first query, the select star from user. Then for every user, select star from user where user ID equal to 1. Another query, select star from orders where user ID equal to 2. Another select star from orders where user ID equal to 3. So total queries 101, that is 1 plus 100. So if we have that much IDs, so the better approach is the select star from users, join order on users.id equal to orders.user underscore id. So total queries 1. So these were the questions asked by the Virtusa, and the company location was the Bangalore, and the interview date was the July 3 or July 3rd, 2023. So I will share more interview question with you. Till then, bye.